Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Sharissa Bradley and I am the founder and co-owner of 52 Press. I'm so glad that you are here joining me on this series. We are on step 2 of 10 in the publishing process. If you haven't seen the other videos, they are linked down below in the description, and I am really excited to share with you about brain dumping. What does that even mean? How do we get our thoughts out onto paper? So step 1 in our publishing journey is finding our target audience. You can find that video down below. And step 2, we're looking at brain dump. Before we even start on our writing journey, we need to get as many ideas out on paper as possible. This does not have to be clean. This does not have to be tidy. This does not have to be organized. No one will ever see this but you. There are many different types of brain dumping that you can do. You can just take out a plain piece of paper and write down as many ideas that you can possibly put down about the book that you would like to write. If you'd like to be a little bit more organized about it, you can write yourself a mock table of contents. A table of contents, from my own experience, changes very dramatically over the writing process. And even in editing, you may change chapters from different areas, you may move things completely, and you'll most likely be changing chapter titles all the way up until the very end. But by giving yourself a little guideline, by giving yourself a little starting place of, what do I want to put in chapter 1? What do I want to put in chapter 2? How many chapters do I want to include in my book? These are very important questions that can help guide you on your process without really giving you anything concrete that you have to stick to. You get to be as fluid as you want here. You can use techniques like mind mapping, where you put chapter 1 in a circle and then branch out from that circle just the different ideas that come to mind that you would want to have in chapter 1. That can include things like a title of the chapter, or specific quotes that you would want to add, or things that you just really don't want to forget to add into these areas. Brain dumping can be a beautiful way to just really put everything out there in the most messy, disorganized fashion, because you're going to have lots of opportunities to organize things later, but we need that initial freedom to just put everything out without really thinking twice about it. Brain dump has to do with just getting all of our thoughts out of our mind and somewhere onto a piece of paper where we can actually look at them and begin organizing them into an actual book. For me, I like to blank Google Docs form. I call it brain dump, and I just type as many random things as possible. That could just be a single word with a little space in between, maybe a couple asterisks here or there and highlighted sections here or there. And from that, I like to go back and forth from my actual manuscript to the brain dump to see, have I gotten everything? Did I remember to put everything I wanted to put in? And it serves as this little template for the whole journey of writing ahead, because it gives you something to add if you can't think of anything. There's nothing worse than that feeling of setting aside time for writing your book, sitting down to write, and having nothing come out. Having no words, having no sentences, having nothing to say, when you know there's a book inside of you. A brain dump gives you that freedom to really explore all the different things that you could possibly add into a book. And then once you start actually writing in a cohesive way, you can refer back to the brain dump to see what areas you can add in your book and see what things you may want to expand on inside your manuscript. The brain dump can be something that we refer back to all of the time. And when you set aside time to write, you may not be writing in order. You may be writing chapter 1 and then chapter 25 and then chapter 15. And you're gonna bounce back and forth depending on what you're inspired to write that day and that time. And the brain dump can serve as a way to re-inspire and reignite the passion that you had for writing this book when you face those moments of, I have nothing in my mind, everything is blank. You go back to your brain dump and you find random topics, random words that you can expand on. Maybe it's one sentence and you can copy that sentence from your brain dump, put it in your manuscript, and add a few sentences to it. that counts as your writing for the day, even if it's just jumping here and jumping there. The brain dump can really serve as this messy strategy that you can refer to when you just don't have anything to write about. Writing a manuscript can be challenging throughout the whole journey. It will really test your patience and your perseverance, but by having something like a brain dump or a mind map or a mock table of contents or all of the above, those things can re-inspire you and reignite your passion when things get really challenging in the manuscript writing process. Do yourself a favor, follow along in the PDF download that you can get in the link below, and write out as much as you possibly can in brain dump fashion. Any ideas that you have for the book cover, any ideas that you have for fonts that you like, any ideas that you have for your table of contents, or even quotes that you'd like to add at the beginning or the end of chapters. This can be a very important tool, and it's often stepped over because we just don't really think of it as being that important to messily write out all of these ideas. It can be really helpful when things get challenging. If you have the PDF, there are several pages for brain dump. There are several different styles for the brain dump pages to give you lots of different prompts to help you along this brain dump journey. But if you just want to open up a blank document or just get out a blank piece of paper, that will work perfectly. Get as many ideas out as possible, and then keep that document somewhere nearby so that when an idea pops into your head out of nowhere, you can add it to that brain dump page and refer back to it as much or as often as you want. Remember, no one has to see this but you, so it can be messy and jumbled and chicken scratch and crossed out here and highlighted there, and no one's going to judge you for it because it's all yours and it's just to help you along your writing process and for no one else. Thank you so much for joining me along this journey on the 10 steps to publishing your book. This was step 2, all about brain dump, and I can't wait to share with you next week's episode on how to take that brain dump and how to turn it into a strategy for actually implementing a writing process. I can't wait to share with you. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode.